Welcome into hour two. Let's get into some
Is a
defensive
possum
talk.
in a dumpster.
If you had to guess which side of the defense, which part of the defense stood out today, guys, what would it be? Just based off of how camp's gone so far, what would you say is, yeah, I would probably say it's the pass rush. I'd probably say it's the stack backers. I'd probably say it's the safeties. What do you guys think it would be?
I feel like you're setting me up, but I would say, yeah, D-line or edge.
There you go. Bang. It happened all day long. I'm so excited to get into this. Ryan Wood tweeted out, good start for the Packers defensive line against the Colts offense, especially against the run. Then Rashawn Gary comes around the edge for a sack, and then somebody hit him with the whole, yeah, there's a clear version right there. So Rashawn Gary getting the party started, setting the tone for the defensive side of the ball, right? And then after that, surprise, surprise, Ryan Wood puts a tweet out and says, Lucas Van Ness turns the corner on Colts. What's that say? LR. I think he meant left tackle. Bernard Raymond or Ryman for the sack. He's having a good camp. That's a former first-round pick. So Lucas Van Ness getting in on the sack party here. You're seeing a theme, right? You're seeing a kind of a common occurrence here in this camp. They're really starting to crank it up. Now we're going to fast forward a little bit. We'll get to some more of the individual stuff. But look at this tally here. Ryan Wood, Packers sacks so far. Rashawn Gary beats Braden Smith with speed off the edge. Lucas Van Ness beats Raymond with the speed edge. Quay Walker blitz up the middle, gets a sack. Tyron Hopper blitz up the middle with the sack. Kobe Wooden with the power inside rush. You guys know when I watched the tape against the Jets, I didn't think Kobe Wooden had as good of a game as the coaches said, and pretty much every other fan in our chat said. I was the only person that didn't see it quite as glamorous as everybody else did, and obviously I was wrong. Anytime everyone else is saying something and Clayton is saying something the opposite, I'm going to own up to him and go, I must have missed something here. But here he is, joint practice, Emilio, Kobe Wooden with the power inside rush for the sack. Man, this is wild. And we did get it confirmed. I think Ryan Wood confirmed it on Twitter. It was their starting offensive line. Not a great offensive line, but it was their ones. It wasn't like a sprinkle of their twos.
Yeah. No, I'm happy Kobe put the weight on because, like I said before, I had him as a bubble guy, wasn't sure, and I'm glad I'm eating my words because I think having a dude that's been in the system for a couple years, he knows he's worked alongside Brooks. They got a tandem. He can block field goals, extra points, all that. Just good things to have on the team. Put some weight on, wants to work hard in the offseason, worked hard to get a degree. I just like that mentality. And why get rid of a guy that wants to kind of put in that effort? How much do you really love football? I was listening to that Cowboys pod, and that's what they were talking about is they think that they have a problem trying to find guys. They can, scout out players, not a problem. They think that they need to get better at scouting out. Do you love football? Are you a guy in that sense? Do you love what your job is going to be the next, 5 to 10 years, depending? So I think that this team and the Packers really have done just a great job finding those kind of players, family, community, and the drive of wanting to do their job.
Yeah, Jen Wright in the chat here, Jacob says Covington leaving a mark. I mean, you're seeing it immediately. I completely agree, Jen. And that's me running it through the filter of Tim on the sidelines going, Clayton, Covington is so freaking organized. Tim was happy. I want to say happy with I remember him being positive about Rebovich, right? Like, man, he's fire on fire. He's very intense, right? And then the second that Covington come in, you could tell things kind of shifted. I wish Tim was here so I could make sure I'm not putting words into his mouth. The vibe I get from him, Jacob, is Coach Covington is so organized, dude. And you pointed it out, right? I don't remember seeing this type of equipment in camp and some of the stuff they're using in the pass rush sets. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We did highlight that just multiple times over the last week or two, and it just seems a whole different type of energy in there.
read that for us.
2-0 for this says, leaving a mark like Michael Scott and the Benihana waitress. I marked her arm.
Best episode ever.
It's so good.
Yeah. What did he say? What did Dwight say, Amelia? You got to start on one side and bring it all the way around.
Yeah, they're talking.
Gotta get a bucket, so there'll be a lot of blood.
Yeah. Then he's stealing the people next to him their food and everything.
Yeah.
Just
it's family style. No, it's not.
Look, it's never too early to start talking about next year. Either Coach Lynn says Covington, our new DC, or if Halfley gets his head coach job next season. Here's the thing, Coach. Would it be Covington? Covington struggled in New England as DC, right? and he's only had one shot at it. For me personally, who's been here the longest, and I could be wrong, but who's been here the longest with Jeff Hafley? I know it's just their second year, but I'm thinking Derek Ansley would be my pick right now. And then you maybe promote Coach Covington to kind of second in command, right? Who's the other assistants that come to mind, guys? That's the two I can really think of because our Italian stallion ended up going down to did he go back to Miami or Jacksonville, didn't he?
Jacksonville, I thought. Yeah. What about Ainsley? Do you think he's got enough?
Yeah, DA.
Juice?
For sure.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah,
Oh,
Derek
sorry.
Ansley. Yeah, I think that would be my pick, although I can understand why Coach Lynn would want to go with Covington. What do you think, Emilio? Who would be your DC, man?
Yeah, I think it would probably be DA. That was my first thought. The secondary is always talking about it. It's a passing league. I feel like you would kind of lean on that sort of aspect of it. Looking at the defense, you got Hafley, a coordinator, passing game coordinator is DA. He's already passing game coordinator, which is, just one step down from DC at that point. D-line, you got DeMarcus Covington.
Wow, Coach O. What about Olabasi?
He's gone. He was the old D-line coach, right?
Oh, he is?
Yeah. What I was going to say is, like, when you look at the other D-line coaches, like, Ogabasi's still here, right?
Yeah, he's not gone.
Oh, there. I'm sorry. You're right. Assistant. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. He's right here.
Think about this. He came from Boston College with Jeff Hafley. So Jeff Hafley can take that guy with him. And that's the other thing you got to watch, too, is, like, whoever you pick for your DC here, everyone else is probably going with Hafley for a promotion. That's the thing that sucks about losing the DC. It's not just losing one coach. They typically, we always talk about Detroit this year and how they lost Aaron Glenn, their DC, and they lost Ben Johnson, their OC. But we don't talk enough about how not all, but a good chunk of those assistants went with them too.
They probably took 3 apiece, something like that. But yeah, your only other options really, you have Wendell Davis, quality control, Ryan Downers.
Ball King.
Yep. And Sean Dugan, linebackers. And then you have Jeff Kuntz, defensive assistant, quality control, Jamal Lett, and then Vince Ogabasi. So yeah, you don't have a bunch of options, but you would want to have someone hopefully in-house that's kind of run with it and knows at least that direction that they want to go. But I do think DA is the go-to.
Yeah, Jen Wright says make half a co-head coach. So here's how that works, Jim. They can't block a promotion. And what I mean by that is the only way we could keep Jeff Hafley on the Packers if he's offered a head coaching job is if we give him our head coaching job. Right?
Unless he just denies it straight up, right?
He can just say deny. That's correct. Right. Ben Johnson did that, if you'll remember, right? Ben Johnson did that and then waited a year. So in terms of that, the only way we could keep him is if we let Matt LaFleur go and Hafley becomes our head coach. I don't want to speak for everyone. I know I don't want that. I would much rather have.
So is that the only move that they could? Because isn't Pisaccia assistant head coach?
He's assistant head coach. Now, here's the thing: if another team offers Jeff Hafley assistant head coach in DC, I believe that's technically a promotion. He could leave for that, and then we'd have to make a decision: do we let go of Pisaccia and promote Jeff Hafley into that? Which Pisaccia almost didn't come back this year. But again, we're talking about Hafley taking a head coaching job. I don't think he would leave for another DC spot. And even if the Packers approve it, you know what I mean? I think
I almost think Hafley, I would hope Hafley at least had maybe a 3-year plan. Okay, I'm going to get up there first year, see what happens. Second year, go through it. Hey, if we knock on wood, bring home the Lombardi, perfect. I would still love him to be around for maybe one more. He doesn't need to be a lifetime DC like in the Chiefs, but let's do a little 3-year plan and then move on from there. Right.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to keep bringing these assistants in. That's why I really feel like Coach LaFleur hasn't rested on that. It would have been real easy to just bring in Hafley. Okay, that's good. Now we'll put a young staff together. No, he went and got another former DC in Ansley. He went and got another former DC in Covington. And you've got to keep that pipeline kind of full. That way you've got experience at the DC and even OC, right? Like there's a chance Stenovich could get a job. I think Stenovich, people look at him because he's a former offensive lineman like he's a big, dumb poopy stick or something, right? and I wanted to say dip, you know what? But anyway, he's not. If you listen to him talk, that dude is brilliant. I mean, he's a brilliant offensive mind. He really is. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting a head coaching job. But I do think other teams do kind of look at the precedent. We talk about precedent all the time. I think they also look up and go, Hackett didn't make it. Getsy didn't make a good head coach. You know what I mean? So it's probably more Matt LaFleur than it is his assistants on the offensive side. Whether that's correct or not, I think teams will be looking at it. But the sack game did not stop here, guys. I know we gave you all those updates. LVN, another sack, according to Wes Hodkiewicz, right? Then this one right here got me, I think, even more excited. As Wes Hodkiewicz tweeted this out. Look who joined the sack party. Sorrell, sack of Richardson, and he just dirts it. I'm also standing next to Bubba Watson, so we give a little shout-out to the golfer Bubba Watson there who was in-house. Baron Sorrell, boys, we talk about it. Keeping score, Jacob. Another notch, another mark in the positive. What I do on my board is a positive green plus sign. All right. And then you tally them up. You minus the red marks off of it. You throw the green up, and and however it balances out, you keep score. All right, these are the guys that had the best camp. Baron Sorrell, it's early, but I can't wait to watch him again this weekend.
Yeah, and that goes back to our opening segment. I just don't think that we're going to bring in a guy with that much baggage and money that would stir up that room where we have guys that are absolutely, I don't want to say blue chip studs other than maybe a guy like Gary, but potential blue chip studs. I really do believe that LVN, if he takes the type of step that his body will, I mean, he's an athletic specimen. He's a freak. Brenton Cox Jr. has some intangibles you can't teach. You got a guy like Baron Sorrell who looks like he may be, I mean, everybody's given Golden all this shout out and praise, which is well deserved. And absolutely, I'd say that on the defensive side of the ball, I haven't seen many guys kind of walk into a system and sort of flash consistently and put, I think he's making, I wouldn't even say small gains every day. It seems like he's making pretty decently large gains every day. And you talked about how Half said that he's never seen a rookie make mistakes and then correct them in the same series in the same game. He said that Baron Sorrell had done that during that first preseason game, and that's one of the reasons why he didn't think in his eyes that it was a complete failure, at least from the defensive perspective. So, man, I couldn't be more excited about Baron Sorrell, and I'm all gas, no brakes with that edge room.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Excited to see his hands. He's going to be good for us. I really do. And that's
How
where it's
about
like,
these hands?
Thank you, Jacob, because where are we going to, I mean, you would be like, all right, let's take Micah, give him picks, give him some money, and then we got to give him Sorrell. We got to give him a young talent sort of thing to make the deal worth it for the Cow. I don't like it. Homegrown, run it.
Yeah, Sam Schmidt in the chat says, do you guys have any 11 versus 11 clips? We do not, and I'll tell you why. They completely ban 11-on-11 clips. It's supposed to be banned from training camp as well. However, they're really, really strict on these joint practices. The reason you hear us say vanilla during the preseason, everybody has access to those tapes. All 32 teams do, right? So you don't want to put anything out there in preseason that your opponents can use to scout against you. Well, in these 11-on-11s at joint practices, neither team is allowed to share that footage. If you get caught sharing that footage, you're in deep dookie. Okay, so that's why there's no 11 on. I'm not saying there's not any, because there's some fans that probably recorded it, just like we got people at training camp that do, but they really want to keep that out. And the reason being is why these joint practices are so valuable is those 11-on-11 situations, you're actually doing what you plan on doing in the season. You're testing that stuff out, these joint practices, as opposed to preseason. It's another way you can kind of get around allowing those clips to get out. So, all right. With that being said, we got another guy that joined the sack party today. Colts score on third down, but Carl Brooks may have had a sack on the play. AR had to step up to hit Pittman. So Carl Brooks, a little flash. You want to see that? He's had a quiet camp. Am I wrong there, guys, or am I being too harsh on Carl? Seems like we haven't heard much from him, have we?
It's been quiet, but I don't know if that's a bad thing. I think he's kind of been head down doing his work. He was out there on the field a lot, in this game. I'm not worried about him.
Yeah, you bet, Sam. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for the question, man.
Yeah, I agree with what Emilio said. It's one of those situations almost like a corner where it's like you don't hear their name flashing, but you don't hear a ton negative. So you just assume he's in there doing his job. And that's all that we can ask for a guy like Carl.
Yeah, since you brung up corners, check this out. Well, before we get to that, sorry. It's next on the list. I got a little ahead of myself. Ryan Wood tweeted out, final damage for Packers defense against the Colts, 10 sacks, 4 takeaways, at least 3 tackles for a loss. Colts had a touchdown to 2-minute period, only highlight today. They also had a red zone period of 22 plays. The Packers just allowed 1 touchdown, a 3-yard run. Yeah, it was like that. So hell of a day for that defensive front, man. Now, let's move.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
And they did. Let's hit the super chat, and then we'll get over to the DB side. I got a clip to show y'all there, too. Clint, the armchair quarterback, thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate you. The NFL raised the roster limit to 53 players in 1993. Isn't it time to raise it again? Yeah, I don't really know how to feel about it, Clint. I think the more players, the merrier, just on the surface. Like, I think there's nothing wrong with it, right? And as a team, you would probably want to do that as well. But the NFL is just so damn good. It's so entertaining. I don't want anything to change. And I understand – If I had been a fan in 1955, I would have screamed, "Don't change anything." We wouldn't have the game we got today, right?
Yeah.
But am I wrong there? It just feels like this. They've got this thing fine-tuned. I mean, it just it feels home.
What do you think?
The only thing that I would push back on that is that the fact that recently they've been adding more games and they seem to just have the games in shorter concession without having as many or not adding any more buys to it. That would be the one thing that I'd push back. Like, I wouldn't necessarily want to raise it very high, but like, just even imagine if we had 4 extra roster spots, it would make some of these battles so much more easier to understand and to kind of get that best team out there. But yeah, it is tough. Like Clayton said, I remember when they first started messing around with the kickoff rules, I'm like, that's it. Football's done. Or when they started doing the safeties, the targeting and all that kind of stuff, to me, it does dilute the game a little bit, but a year passes and we kind of all get used to the rules. It is what it is.
Yeah. What do you think, Amelia?
I was want to say it was Schwartz on GM or Ross Tucker. They were talking about this, and to Jacob's point, we had the 53, but you're only dressing 48 for the game, right? So you're still kind of, you have that fluctuation of the amount of people you plan on having dressed every day and not. But they were saying on their pod, they were given the point of, hey, being a player is amazing, right? There's only so many of the players that are getting that payment. With more of the, the money deals, the TV deals, the profit sharing, all that stuff that the CBA has. Said the more you're adding players, the more you're going to kind of dilute that number for the players that have done that work, got there and gotten paid. He said, so as a former player, he was saying that he would probably steer away from that, I would think, just because that number is going to keep going down if, the owners are still trying to work, hey, we still got to get these guys in here. If you bring it up to, 60, whatever, that just more people that got to go around, the salary cap's going to have to change. How are you going to, cover everybody there? I think it would kind of get a little messy.
Got it. And again, Clint, thank you so much for the super chat, bud. We appreciate you, man. United Bates says, think they will expand the practice squad first. Maybe I would be okay with that. I would be totally on board with that.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think keep it to 53 right now. The old get off my lawn guy that I am. And then maybe expand the practice squad a little bit. So I appreciate that.
What real quick is it 16? Am I thinking correctly?
Yeah.
Squad, yeah, it's 10. I think it's you get, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, guys, but I think you get 10 regular practice squad players, and you get 6 veterans, I think. And then you get 1 international player as well, just over the overall, set to round it out from 69 to 70-man roster or what have you. So that's the way I understand it anyway. So, so back to practice here. Defense, Keyshawn Nixon with an interception, picks a pass off a deflection, dropped by A.D. Mitchell over the middle. Next rep, Mitchell catches a slant. Javon Bullard rips the football out before Mitchell was on the ground. Evan Williams recovers the fumble. Now, we got a video of this, and I got to be very, very careful here, okay? And the Packers tweeted out. I think it's okay to show it. Hopefully it is. But this is, I love the tweet they put out, the text they put out with it. Just says bully ball. Bully ball in full effect. All right, let's see if we can get this without getting in too much trouble here, okay? I'm going to hit play, maybe. Oh, got to watch the sound because they always kick the music in on us. All right, here we go. Look at Bull. Give me that rock, baby. Ooh. And then, of course, Evan Williams is just always around the football. Am I right there? I mean, always. So love to see that right there. That was an 11-on-11, obviously. But, again, watch it one more time. Look at Bull.
Dude,
that's that ball king stuff, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I watched an interview with Evan. He talked about how they had really good intensity on defense. He said they forced a ton of turnovers. I had no idea that it was 10 sacks, 4 turnovers, a bunch of tackles for a loss. It sounds like he got in there and kind of set the tone initially against the run for a tackle for loss. Also, we mentioned how Hafley said in his first preseason game presser where he was like, look, I didn't see that intensity translate from the practice field because these guys were ripping balls out. They were rapping and ripping. They were punching balls out. They were doing, the peanut Tillman, and that Ball King has been literally charting this all offseason and preseason. So this is the type of stuff I want to see. Whatever they did coach all week, it got these guys hyped up.
Definitely. What do you think, Emilio? Bull plays physical in the slot, man. I think he's poised to take another step in the slot. I feel like he played much better in the slot last year than he did safety. And now that he's got a full offseason under his belt, I mean, this dude, I think the sky's the limit for him in the slot.
Right. And I'm glad that they gave him those reps in the slot. You see KTs out there, Oladapo and Evans. So you have Bull running that nickel. I love that. And he does. He's got that kind of dog. I'm glad that what they've been preaching in practice, the attacking the ball where we didn't see that in the Jets game, that happened. It came out here, obviously still practice, but just being able to do that same thing you've been repeating and repping and everything, doing that in a game while also trying to stop this dude is on some, a different team than your own. I think it makes it all kind of easier.
Yeah, definitely. I like what Clint said too. What a difference a week makes. Again, though, Clint, I'm going to be that guy that says the good it's never as good as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems when it comes to this type of stuff preseason. But again,
LVN was saying the same thing, Clay, is that they need to come out with, they're pissed hot. They need to step it up. They even had a meeting after the Jets game. Hey, we need to come out a little better as a D-line group as a whole.
Love it, man. Love it. All right, Ryan Wood tweeted out, Jonathan Baldwin picks a deep pass for Anthony Livingston Gould from Anthony Richardson. All right. Well, it would have been a pick if Brenton Cox Jr. hadn't sacked Richardson first. This is pure domination from the Packers defense. Another guy, Jacob, Brenton Cox Jr. So he's going to take another step, man. And what's crazy is Enigbare scored out damn near in the 90s. He might have been in the 90s according to PFF in that first preseason game, and that was over 30 plus snaps. Right when every time I want to go, all right, Brenton Cox Jr. needs to get the majority of the reps. Now all of a sudden Enigbare raised his game. You know what I mean? It's just wow.
Yeah, pleasant surprise, right?
Yeah. 2-0 for this says, so he went to play for the Colts after Jan Livingston divorced him. So somebody got that joke. I love it, man. Love it. All right, up next. Now, another player that struggled this past week, right? And this kind of goes hand in hand with what Clint was just saying in the chat. Isaiah Simmons struggled, right, guys? Bad week last week. Isaiah Simmons just picked off Daniel Jones to end twos for the 2 minute. So I think that means the number 2 defense against the number 2 offense. He ended up getting an interception there. So Isaiah Simmons, after that as well, another tweet. Let me try to get it on the screen quick enough for you guys. Wes Heikowitz put out says a pair of good run fits by Simmons in the twos as well. Again, I wish it was with the ones. With the backups, it doesn't mean as much, but I'm rooting for Isaiah Simmons, man. Special teams value. It was just that tape last week watching. I went back and watched all his snaps and watched it from the box cam. I don't know if it's fair to say he looks hesitant or a little. I don't want to say scared. That's not what I mean. He looks a little cautious playing stack backer, and maybe that's what other teams seen in him. Like he just doesn't really play the linebacker position like a true linebacker. But boy, it seemed like he showed up today, Emilio. If he steps up, and that is your third backer behind Isaiah McDuffie, you feel a lot better about that linebacker room. But boy, Tyron Hopper, don't sleep on him. He's having a hell of a game. Sounds like.
Yeah, we have 4. I mean, I'm happy with the 4 we have. If you're looking at Kubquay, McDuffie, and Hopper, if Simmons can, be that guy as well, perfect. That gives us 5, and we got a rotation, and then you have some good special teams guys. But no, he's got to. If he wants to make this team, he's got to show that he can play on the 11 on defense. He can play that 4-3 wherever we want him walked up, stack whatever. I think that's something that he's got to show out. This is a perfect time to do it. You got this practice, a game, another practice probably, and then one more game, and that's all you really get.
Yeah. Coach Lynn says put him at edge and call it a day. that's one thing I will say. You try to find what players do well, and it seems like the majority of what they're putting him in terms of deployment is they're putting him at Sam in a 5-man front, meaning he's on the line of scrimmage on the strong side of the formation, Jacob, and he is kind of lining up as an edge defender in what we would normally call like a 34 jam looking front, right, where both guards are covered up. You got a 0 to a shade tech in the middle. The guards are covered, and then you got a couple of 7s or 9s on the outside. If that makes sense. So.
Yep. I think what Deadfish says too, he's wondering, is he just thinking too much? I think Hafley addressed that and said, we want to just play him at one certain position so he doesn't have to overthink. Obviously, the big knock on Isaiah, not the big knock, I guess his big attributes is that he could be a safety, he could be a linebacker, he could be edge, he could play all over the field. But it does feel like that from the tape that you've seen, Clay, that maybe he hasn't had enough time to trust that linebacker position. And hopefully with more reps, it comes a little more natural to him. But worst case scenario, like Amelia said, I'm very comfortable with Hopper as the third if he doesn't show out, because, man, I'm very impressed with him too. And that's another one. When we made the pick, I went, oh, man, really? That guy? And then slowly but surely, Goody and the scouting team proves all us naysayers wrong. So let's remember that.
LVN was another guy that said about overthinking it too much. I think he was talking about Matt or Hafley, saying, dude, you just need to play and stop trying to be a perfectionist and trying to do everything perfectly right at 100%. Give me 95 at you running 100%. I'll take it. You don't have to take every perfect step. And I like that he's gotten to that point of, hey, we just got to go out and play football.
Yeah. You guys keep talking for a second. I'm trying to find a picture for this.
No, just when you said that, it reminded me of the old what was it? Panther, the cologne from Anchorman.
Yeah.
80% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
But
classic.
If you had to, would you be more comfortable if absolutely like Isaiah Simmons these next 2 games doesn't show out and shows maybe more of a liability? Do you think that means that Christian Welch is more of a lock to make this team, even if it's just because of his special teams?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility because he's gotten a lot and he's done well on those special teams here. And Isaiah Simmons has been, to different teams before, and it hasn't worked out, and they've had to move on from him. Pretty much, he's always made a roster, though, right? He hasn't sat on a practice squad, to my knowledge, or he hasn't sat not signed by a team. So I would feel like that he's good enough, serviceable enough, but he really does need to show out, or else they're going to move on, because this next 2 games are where you're going to get reps to the guys that you think you need to see. If they're not getting reps, they're either a starter or they're gone. So I mean, that's you really only have limited time.
Holmes MD1 says Hopper reminds me of Desmond Bishop. You guys remember Desmond Bishop? Pretty sure he won a ring with the Packers that year, right? I remember standing in line. I told you guys this. We were watching Brett Favre play his first game with the Jets. We were in the Packer Pro Shop getting autographs from Robert Brooks and Antonio Freeman because the Packers were playing the next night on Monday Night Football, right? So we're standing there in line, and we're watching Brett play, and this guy was talking to in line. This was, you guys know, this was back, what would that have been, 08 or 09? I think it was 08, right?
It was 08, yeah.
When Aaron took over. And he was like, man, this is surreal. No, I never thought I'd see Brett Favre in another jersey. This is wild, And he said, somebody else got to talking. They were talking about Desmond Bishop. They said, that hit he laid on that Jaguar got him. He said, first time I've ever seen one hit earn somebody a roster spot. And this was the hit they're talking about. I'll never forget it. He knocked his helmet off, and in the upper part here, that's his do-rag. So his helmet one way, his do-rag went the other. And that's the hit that guy was talking about. I wish we could pull that off, find the video of it, if we wouldn't get hit with a copyright, and just let it fly for you guys, because it was, oh my God, it was absolutely.
I wonder if he got a penalty for that one.
I wonder if that's on Twitter somewhere. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Let me see if I can.
All right.
Coach with the wow.
Yeah.
Just hang out with the chat for a minute if you don't care.
Yep. So what do you, honestly, I remember Bishop during that year, and I think I remember that hit because, like I said, I used to watch the preseason games, but back then they weren't as televised. But I remember slowly watching him kind of develop and thinking, oh, wow, like we finally have a guy in the middle. I don't remember, was Nick Barnett on that squad as well in 08?
I don't think he was. I could be wrong. I shouldn't say. I don't know if he was or not, Jacob.
Emilio, are you old enough to remember Nick Barnett?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 56, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
he was
can't remember.
nice, and he was nice in the older versions of Madden. Jacob, he was pretty decent there.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Didn't he have a club? I remember. Was it Nick Barnett that had the club for a while?
I believe that is
Yeah,
correct.
he did play with the club, yeah. And he also had the mouthpiece that had the vampire fangs.
The vampire fangs. Yeah, dude. I very
Nick
much
Beats
enjoyed
is what
that.
they call him because he was a DJ too, I think.
Nice.
Anyway, carry on.
But it is interesting because other than I think that's why Packer fans, at least myself, I'm so excited about Edgerrin Cooper because it has been a while that we had kind of that, we had Campbell for a hot minute, and that was more of a flash in the pan. And obviously we had AJ Hawk, and he had a very storied career, and then you had your Nick Barnetts. But besides that, it was a lot of kind of hits and miss throughout the drafts. I mean, I remember when we first started the podcast, I was so high on Ty Summers. You guys remember that by chance?
Mm-hmm.
And that's because he was the only person that responded to me on Instagram. And I was like, oh, yo, this guy's
guy.
Future Hall of Famer right here. He had some good moments every now and then, but Nick Perry, that's a guy I was thinking of too. I think he played with a club as well.
Yep.
So yeah, we've had some flashes in the pan, but really nothing like the linebacker room that I think that we have right now.
Yeah, you need to take that do-rag that flew off his head and put it on this guy right here. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I thought it was glasses or something at first. I thought it was honestly like he had shades on underneath or blew the visor off or something.
Oh, he crushed him. And I just combed through YouTube. We need to find it. We need to tweet that out. If somebody could find that hit, it was a preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Desmond Bishop knocked that cat's helmet off. And it might have been a special teams play, maybe. I can't remember. But boy, oh boy. And then he terrorized Brett Favre when Brett Favre came back to Lambeau his second year with the Vikings. That was a lot of fun to watch, too. So Desmond Bishop was a lot. I mean, he was – now, back to the question. Somebody said they seen Tyron Hopper as a Sam backer. Here you go, Holmes MD1. Hopper is a Sam to me. I can see that, right? But think of what a Sam is supposed to do in today's game, right? They have to be able to set the edge, okay? And set the edge is a lot different than a thumper. Like a thumper is a guy – you've seen Hopper sifting through the action and thumping to the tackle, right? When you set the edge, you got to be strong at the point of attack, hold the edge, gap discipline, right? Hold the edge. But I think of Hopper as a mock because a mock is described as a gap destroyer, right? To me, that's what Hopper is. There you go. Coach Lynn said the same thing. I agree, Coach. And again, I'm not saying he would be a bad Sam Holmes, but I don't see him – like when I think of a Sam, I honestly don't even think of Isaiah Simmons as a Sam personally. I think I see him more of a Will than a Sam. A Sam, I'm trying to think of somebody that would be a good Sam here recently. Honestly, Isaiah McDuffie isn't too bad at the Sam. That'd probably be Coach Lane is a
Coach
Sam.
has said multiple times in multiple episodes that he thinks that would be his best position. And forgive me if I was reading the chat, but didn't you say that one of the things that Sam has to do in addition to setting the edge and is being able to cover these tight ends?
Yep.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Yep, you got to be able to do both for sure. Because what that means, guys, is that your Sam, it stands for strong side, right? You're the strong side backer, so you're going to line up over the tight end. Now, if you're playing an over front, then you might be, a gap or two inside of the tight end. But nonetheless, it's going to be your responsibility, especially in a matchy, sticky type coverage. You're going to have to cover the tight end for the most part. You're at least going to cover him until you pass him off to the secondary type thing. So, yeah. What is this right here? A hit like that would be a 15-yard penalty and half ejection in this area. It's true to over, but although I don't remember it being helmet to helmet.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Chest, it seemed like it was just, oh my God, that dude said it best. I'll never forget that guy either. He was wearing camouflage. This is September. Keep in mind, we're at Lambeau. It's September. Inside, it's hot outside, right? We're inside the pro shop, and this guy looked like he was about 5'7". Had the most scrawny accent you'll ever hear. I was like, I could talk to this guy for hours. Had a big old long gray beard, camouflage bibs on. I'm like, it ain't cold, bub. Why you get those bibs on? And he literally looked like someone that we would have bought shine from when I was 18 years old back in Kentucky. And he's hanging out in Lambeau Field getting autographs. I was just like, God, I love this place, man. I feel so at home here. Here we go. Go ahead.
No, if I'm not mistaken, is he just grabbing the It's Time, Kevin Green, and this is the play that was after that. Is that what happened? I believe.
Was it Desmond Bishop that recovered that fumble?
I'm pretty sure that's correct. Yeah.
That's why I didn't even think of that. That makes sense. When I was searching YouTube just now, I typed in Desmond Bishop hit. It did pull up that Clay Matthews play. So maybe he was tagged in it because he recovered the fumble. So, yeah, man, that's a huge recovery right there. That play doesn't have the impact, period, if Pittsburgh ends up recovering it. So, yeah. All right. Good deal, man.
It is time. It is time. Dude, that gave me chills just now.
People don't understand, this was the start of the fourth quarter, I'm pretty sure. I think it was is that what he said in the timestamp? Yep. So the fourth quarter, you get to the fourth quarter, right? And they're in that TV timeout. And he walks over to Kevin Green. And I know you guys, most people know this story, but Kevin Green says, everybody looks at Wood to be a leader. Well, he's gone. It's like, hey, listen, bub, your parents ain't coming to save you. Woodson's on the sideline in a sling because he broke his collarbone the last play of the first half, right? Wood, he's gone. Nobody's stepping up and rallying the troops. It's time. They go right back on the field, and Clay literally tells the guys in the huddle, I think they're running power to me. He said, they keep looking over here. I think they're going to run power to me. And back then, Pittsburgh, that offense, they run a ton of power. They love pulling the guard and the center, right? And sure enough, right before the play, he calls it out. Clay walks up to the line. He goes, spill it, Pickett, spill it. And many people don't know what that means. What he's telling Pickett is, shade back inside and dip under, leave your gap. In a 34 front, you're supposed to hold the point of attack, and you're covering two gaps, right? Well, when he called out power, he's saying spill it inside. Just take one gap, and I've got your outside shoulder. I'm going to cover your outside shoulder. So when he said spill it, Pickett, you'll notice right before he comes up, he says it twice, spill it, Pickett, spill it. You see Pickett right before the snap, shade over a little bit, jumps inside, cuts the play off, and then Clay attacks the pulling guard. Think about what kind of player you have to be. You got to be a little off up here. And A.J. Hawk did this better than any backer in Green Bay for so long. When you know power's coming, you've got to go and hit a 320-pound guard right in the mouth. That's what you got to do. You got to cut that power play off. You got to take their lead blocker out. And it's very unselfish. You got to get in there, jack them up, and make the play. And that play was just absolutely awesome. If you look, it's kind of hard to see, but that picture right there is Clay Matthews and Kevin Green on that play, and above it you can't see it, but I got the play art drawn of that fumble. That's one of the plays. All those plays back there are actual plays, and I've got pictures with the plays from that specific play.
That's awesome. So, hey, rest in peace, Kevin Green, right?
Oh, dude, he was – and that's the thing that when we hired Dom Capers – I know I've told this story before. I called my brother, and I was like, bro, we got Coach Dom. We got Coach Dom. And I said, guess who his DB coach is going to be? Darren Perry. See, I grew up a Pittsburgh fan in the early and mid-'90s. So my brother was a big Steelers fan. This was before I had my favorite, pro team. I just kind of followed my brother around, right? And I told him we hired Dom Capers, and I said, guess who's going to be his outside linebacker coach? I said, Kevin Green. So what Dom did was he took all of those players from the Blitzburg defense that he ran before he got the head coaching job with the expansion Carolina Panthers team. That's what's crazy is he built up that great defense in Pittsburgh, and then he took it and took over the head coaching job in Carolina on their inaugural season, and he took Kevin Green with him, right? Well, lo and behold, what ends up happening? The Packers ended up playing Dom Capers in the NFC Championship at Lambeau Field. Pretty cool how they're all tied together. And then, of course, Dom Capers ends up going to Houston, I believe, and then for a short time, and then Packers came a call, and Mike McCarthy said, we need us a 34-zone blitz defense up here in Green Bay. So Dom said, let's get the troops together, get everybody together, get Darren up here, get me Kevin Green. Let's get the guys that I taught this defense to and go get them to teach it to other players. And, boy, who better to teach Clay Matthews how to play outside linebacker in a zone blitz than Kevin freaking Green, dude.
Yeah.
It just went full circle, and then we win a Super Bowl with him. We had the best defense in the league that year. My brother called me. He's a Pittsburgh fan, and who did we end up beating? Pittsburgh, right?
Mm-hmm.
He called me that day, and he said, I just want you to know that I'm rooting for Green Bay today. I hope you get a ring today. It was awesome. Pretty cool. How the league is very cyclical, and stuff that worked 20 years ago will come back around, right? Like that's why you see, like a lot of this RPO stuff that took off under Philly several years ago, right? And RPO kind of grabbed a hold of the game. That was invented in Green Bay. Many people don't know that. Like, I don't know if it was invented in Green Bay, but Doug Peterson was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles when they won their first Super Bowl, and they won it off the back of that RPO game, right? With Nick, what was his name? Nick Folk? Was that what it was?
Nick
No,
Foles.
Yeah, well,
Foles.
Foles.
Foles, I think. Yeah. Anyway, that RPO game, I heard an interview with him, and he said, "Yeah, I learned that from Brett. In Green Bay, they would, how Brett would always fake that throw and hand the ball off.
Yeah,
right? He would always do it, or he'd hand it off and fake a throw.
Yeah,
he went to Holmgren and was like, "Hey, I'm faking this throw. That throw's actually there. I should start throwing that." So when defense is keyed in on the run, when you go to, because they're reading the blockers, they're reading the fullback, and in a 21 set, they've got their keys and they're reading run. If the quarterback just takes a look, that's what they're called lookies. Take a look, and you see that conflict defender bite on the run, hammer a slant in there. So Doug Peterson took that as the backup in Green Bay and implemented a whole offense around it in Philadelphia and won a freaking ring with it. So,
dude, I'll never forget watching Brett Favre handing the ball off, and even my dad and like my aunts and stuff would be like, "Why does he throw the fake after he already handed the ball off?" And we just always been like, "I don't know," And then like you said, lo and behold, Brett had a little more upstairs than people give him credit for. I swear.
yeah. He played the dumb redneck from Mississippi game, but boy, they said he was sharp as a tack.
Our Jamie, our resident Jamie says, United Bates sent you that Bishop hit 25-second mark in the video.
How is he just so good?
Where did you send it at, Bates? Help me out here, bro.
He said on YouTube if you can show it. Not sure. Not
Okay,
sure if it means it's on YouTube or if he sent it through.
I would think that the hit's probably on YouTube.
So what did he say? 25-second mark?
That is correct.
Y'all want to go a few minutes long? Keep talking to the chat. I'll see if I can make this happen here.
Amelia, are you old enough now to remember? This is Mr. Not So Cool says Mike McKenzie and Al Harris were my favorite corners of all time. There was a stint where I thought Mike McKenzie was going to be the next Charles Woodson. He was so. I don't remember if we traded him or if we let him walk, but I think did he go to the Saints after that, and his career just kind of went away. So. I think there was injuries, I think is what it was. But
I remember the pick six, and I think I said this before. I remember having both. If we had dreads on both outside corner spots, we were good, dude. We were absolutely set. I wasn't worried.
And then, of course, the Al Harris against Hasselbeck, where it went into overtime. We want the ball. We're going to score. I watched that in my grandmother's basement, and I think I tossed a plate of nachos half across the room, and when he did the old bye-bye wave kind of as he's running in the end zone. Oh my Lord. It was great.
It was. I mean, that's the memories right there, man. That's where I think this team, we're going to have a guy or two on this team that's going to, maybe we get a play. If not, maybe not this team specifically in this next 5 years, we're going to have one of those meaningful moments where it's like, all right, we're going to remember this for a long time. And whoever it was, I'm excited.
Yeah, I agree. That's what's honestly more encouraging to me is looking back at those memories. It's like, that's why in preseason, I feel like Packer fans need to be more positive because we are going to have some of those memories this year, whether or not it's a winning season, a losing season, or just kind of a push it, whatever it is. There's going to be some moments there where it's going to be memorable. I was just going to highlight that.
Yeah, Coach Lynn here. I hate seeing Harris on the Cowboys sideline shake my head. He's done pretty decent. He was their DB coach when Trayvon Diggs had all those picks, wasn't he? So
Yep. I think there was rumors too that we were going to bring him into our I don't know if it was just for DB or if it was just getting him some sort of position. I think it was after they fired Joe Barry that people were like, you got to give Al Harris a shot. And at that point, it was the fact that he doesn't have that much experience other than, what he did in Dallas and obviously on the field. But that would have been as much as, I would have been excited for that. I really would have. But
absolutely. Jay Cole says here, man, I remember those days and hate to bring him, but Darren Sharper was a dog too. I remember Darren Sharper, one of the hardest hitting safeties in the league.
Bro, you guys can't see, but my whole office is covered head to toe in Packer stuff that I've gotten from family members that either passed away or just gave me their hand-me-downs. And I've got way too many Darren Sharper not posters of him specifically, but him as part of how they'll do your lineup, your studs of your team for this year. What year was it? I got a bunch of them. 2002, 2003. Yeah, he's very prominent there. But sometimes he hit a little too hard there, Mr. Sharper. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot the guy's name. Whoever made those videos, that one, the Marshawn Lynch one, and the Greg Jennings one playing Madden with the bum leg was just some.
That's right, dude.
A broken leg and just put the team on my back. Those are some absolute gems.
Reggie L says Tramon Williams, Charles Woodson, Nick Collins. How do we forget about him? Morgan Burnett were my favorite DBs. Wow. Think about that. That is a group right there, man. Wow.
All right.
Atari
Bigby. For a hot minute, yeah, he was pretty good, man.
We're risking getting in trouble for this, but I think it's worth it.
Of course, it's when Tim's not here. He would have told us not to do it.
Clayton, please don't do it, Clayton, please. But we're going to do it. Talk for just a few more minutes. It's loading.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Keep going, boys. Stop for just a second.
I saw another one in the chat that I forgot about completely. Blake Martinez. That was a little stint there. And didn't he end up, speaking of guys that maybe had some trouble with the law, didn't he get in trouble for selling fraudulent Pokemon cards? I believe?
It's just turning them. Jacob,
that's what Emilio's gonna do if he ever gets out of the podcast game. He's gonna start flipping old Pikachus.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the old Radio Shack place at the mall, and we're just gonna be turning cards over, no problem.
You know what my favorite line is at the gym? Hey girl, you a Pokemon? Because I want a Pikachu. It works 80% of the time, 100% of the time.
Pokemon. Doesn't Pokemon sound like...
Sit your butt outside.
Doesn't Pokemon sound like a Jamaican skin flick or something? Like, seriously. Unbelievable. All right, listen. It looks like it was recorded on a potato, okay? It looks like everybody's screen recorded it 6 times. It's going to be kind of hard to see. Should I go full screen or no?
Yeah. If we're going to do it, let's
do like the one where can you zoom in a little bit more? Yeah, perfect. Screw it. Let it run.
So this is Desmond Bishop getting a full head of steam here. I think this is the ball's going right here, but let's hit play here.
Marshall.
Oh, my.
One more time. What's the do-rag? See the do-rag go?
Yeah, they go different. How is that physically possible?
I don't know, man. Defy gravity, that's for sure. What's this angle right here, man? And then we're getting it off the screen. Oh, yes, sir. That poor guy. Wow. He's got a family to think about, too, man. Again, what's the do-rag?
That's a clean hit. That's a shoulder into that chest.
Oh, lovely.
Wow.
Bates, you're the man. Thank you for getting us canceled, but appreciate you. I can't believe you found it, man. So it was
2007 preseason that game happened.
Yeah, and Nick Barnett was in the highlight reel too, so he was still on the team in 2007. I don't know if he was on the team for the Super Bowl. The commentator said, "Oh my God, you could say that Bishop baptized." Oh, see, now we got to hear that now. Let's go back to it.
Oh, here we go.
No.
It's the audio that gets us canceled.
Can we put it where we're like on top of it? Put the camera.
Maybe
up.
that'll work better, huh?
Yeah, we need to be
audio, you mean? Yeah. Well, throw me an image up real quick. Doesn't matter what it is.
All right. Yeah. I got you. We'll go with this guy right here.
Perfect. That should do it. All right. Let's listen to the audio this time and see if we can catch that and put it on the screen there. I love it. We're so over right now, and it don't even matter. All right, here we go. Get it up. Bang. All right, here we go. Let's listen to the audio.
Marshall is jacked up. Oh, my God. Desmond Bishop. You can say the Bishop baptized him.
Is that Rich Eisen?
Yeah, hits like this in preseason. You just don't expect them, Rich.
Yeah,
we need that soundbite for the show. You could say the Bishop baptized him.
That's good.
Gotta love the Packers. All right, let's get out of here, man. The connection just dropped, too, so we're about to lose connection.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's Mandy downstairs. I'm unplugging the router.
She's unplugging the router.
All right, Bates, thank you so much, bub. I owe you lunch, man. What did Matrix say?
He said,
damn, boy, he got rocked.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Not So. I hope I'm saying that right. How would you say it, Emilio?
I think it's not so cool.
Yeah, not so cool.
Not so cool. See, I'm saying it like I don't want to screw somebody's first name up, like it might be, something I don't understand. But this episode was awesome. Yeah, it was fun, man. We had a good time. So, all right, guys, if you would hit that like button, Hit subscribe if you're new here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, man. This was a lot of fun. We'll be back to what's tomorrow? Friday. We'll be back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time for PTA Live. We'll find something else to talk about. Who knows? We may go back into the vault again too and get some old footage. I'm going to be ready though. The second they hit us with a copyright, I'll delete it real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? All right. Appreciate you, Bates. Everybody have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Bates.
Jacob, Emilio, thank y'all, man. This was fun. That was assault. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world and go back.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.